the shop that took smiles as payment. In the town of Oakhaven, the sky always seemed a little bit too gray. The people there were always in a hurry, walking with their heads down and their coat collars pulled up high. Alara was a young girl who wondered why nobody ever stopped to look at the trees or the birds. She often felt like a splash of color in a world made of pencil sketches. One chilly afternoon, Alara discovered a shop she had never noticed before. It was tucked between a tall bakery and a dusty library. The door was painted a vibrant shade of sunset orange, and a golden sign above it swayed in the wind. It read, "The Grinning Gallery." Curious, Alara reached out and pushed the heavy wooden door open. Inside, the shop was filled with the most magical things Alara had ever seen. There were glass jars that held the sound of the ocean, clocks that chimed like morning birds, and umbrellas that rained glitter. Behind a counter made of polished driftwood sat Barnaby. He was a kind-looking man with a beard as white and fluffy as a summer cloud. Alara's eyes landed on a tiny silver music box resting on a velvet cushion. It was decorated with dancing stars. "How much does this cost?" she asked, reaching into her pocket for her few coins. Barnaby shook his head and pointed to a chalkboard hanging behind him. It didn't list prices in dollars or cents. Instead, it said, "Price, one genuine smile." Alara had never heard of such a thing. She thought of her favorite things, the smell of rain, the taste of honey toast, and the way her cat purred. Slowly, a bright, beautiful smile spread across her face, lighting up the dim corners of the shop. It was a smile that came straight from her heart. Barnaby let out a happy whistle. He carefully wrapped the silver music box in soft blue tissue paper and tied it with a silver string. He handed it to Alara with a wink. "Paid in full," he said softly. "Always remember, Alara, that the things worth the most usually cost the least." Alara stepped back out into the gray street, clutching her treasure. Near her house, she saw her neighbor, Flora, sitting on a wooden porch. Flora looked very lonely, staring at her empty garden with a heavy sigh. Alara stopped, carefully unwrapped the music box, and wound the tiny key. A sweet, tinkling melody began to dance through the air. As the music played, Flora's sad expression began to melt away. She looked at Alara and let out a soft, melodic laugh. She stood up and plucked a single, brilliant red tulip from a pot nearby. "Thank you, dear," Flora said, handing the flower to Alara. "That song reminded me of my own childhood garden." Alara was so happy that she ran all the way back to the Grinning Gallery. She didn't want to buy anything else. She just wanted Barnaby to see the beautiful flower. She burst through the orange door and placed the red tulip on the counter. "Look what your music box did," she exclaimed. Barnaby laughed and placed the flower in a vase of water. As Alara walked home for the second time, she noticed the gray town was changing. Flora was busy planting more seeds, and the mailman was whistling a happy tune. People were looking up and nodding to one another. Alara realized that kindness was like a ripple in a pond. Once it started, it just kept growing until the whole world felt a little warmer.